Hey, it's Jag, and I think this is the last day of prep for the GGBO. I could really go for a bag of chips right now. Salt, vinegar, cracked pepper, and sea salt. What do you think? Well, the GGBO has been underway officially for a little over 2 months now, and I have been working on it. At the beginning of this, I said I would take all of the time. It's going to be a slow project for me. So most of what I've done up till now has been basically what I would consider prep. I think today is the last day of prep. So today I'm going to scrape the glue off of the joints on the tops and the blanks. And then I'm going to glue the blanks to the tops, and we're basically ready to start the real build. My next video in this series, not necessarily the next video I release, but the next video in the GGBO series, I need to make some routing templates. I'm still trying to decide whether I want to buy routing templates or make my own. I've made plenty of routing templates before. I've made the templates for my body, for example. I've also made routing templates to inlay wood into a hole that was created in a guitar. So I know how they work. I've just never built neck pocket templates. That's the one I'm most concerned about, and the template for the neck itself. So my next video will probably be making templates, but I don't really consider that as much prep as I do an actual integral part of building a guitar you've designed yourself. I just want to kind of recap the materials for the body and the tops, and what my thoughts are on which ones I'm going to use. So here you can see this is my blank number 2, I'm going to call it. This is the top of it. You'll notice my blanks are a little longer on this side than on this side. That's just the way that this wood was cut, and it works out well for my templates. They fit just perfectly. It's about 16 3/4 inches long on this side, and about 16 inches long on this side. So my template, I have two different body style templates. We'll talk about that later. The longest one is 16 1/4 just on this left side. And the other one, the one that's based on the guitar I call the Mutt, is only 15 1/2 inches on this side. So it will fit very well. On this side, it's a little shorter. I didn't measure it because I wasn't too worried. I know it will fit. I've put the blanks on there. I think it's about, both of them are about 15 inches or maybe 15 1/2 on this side. And so this is what I'm calling the second. So it's not my main body blank. And this is the side that the top will be glued to. Here is the back side of blank number 2. And this is the part people are going to see. You can see I've got some glue residue here. I'll have to be doing some sanding, of course. That's what I'm doing today. I just thought this looked a lot more interesting than the other side, and plus that length, I need that on the other side when I put the when I cut the body shape out of this. But this is the back side of blank number 2. A little bit more interesting to look at. I particularly like these marks here. I don't know if those are worm tracks or what they are. I don't think they're worm tracks because they're solid. Anyway, somebody who knows about wood can maybe tell me what makes that kind of figuring in there. I like the look of that, though. There's some more down here too, and I think it just kind of looks really cool. So it will give some interest on the back of the guitar, which people don't see that often anyway. Here is the main body blank, and this one actually looks really interesting. If I wasn't putting tops on, I would have really liked this as a top for the guitar. Here's the back of that blank, and again, I just liked the symmetry and to the tops. So as I say, I should be able to split these both of these tops in half and get actually a total of 4 tops. This is the thinner top, so I don't have a lot of room to sand or plane this down. Which is good. This one turned out pretty flat when I uncupped it. The figuring is pretty similar all the way up. It's a little bit more pronounced up at the top. So I think I will use this particular top for number 2. The figuring looks really good on there. And I'll save this for another project. I'll just show you this edge-on view. You can see when I glued it up, there is a little bit of a cup still in both of those. It's not much, so I'm thinking that will clamp out, especially with those clamping cauls that I made. So here's the top that I had the problem with this dip right here. You can see it, it's very pronounced, but from the halfway point up, it's really good. I debated on whether just to make one top out of this, and that way I could kind of start here. I like this sort of little figuring right here. That would kind of look really good at the bottom of the guitar. Or I could start closer to the middle, and there's some very interesting figuring as it goes up. So I probably will decide that at the time I cut. This top is a little bit shorter too, so I may not be able to get 2 tops out of it, which will make my decision a lot easier. I'll let you know when I get to cutting that. But right now, I'm thinking that from here to about here will be the top for my main guitar, and then that would leave me this bottom part. I have decided that I'm going to recut that, rejoint it, and reglue it and clamp it so that it's flat. That again is if I can get a top out of it. If not, this is nice looking wood. I'll find something to do with the offcuts here. All right, so here are my body routing templates. This is my main body template, and this is a copy of the guitar I call the Mutt, which is a guitar I reshaped. My brother had built me a rough-hewn Telly style body quite a few years ago, and about 4 or 5 years ago I reshaped it to this shape, and I like this shape so much that this is my GGBO scratch build. So I've got it laid on my body blank, and it just makes it up at the top. I've got about maybe 3/16 of an inch before the top of the neck pocket. I've got 1/2 inch up here at the top bout, and down at the bottom I've got about 3/16 of an inch. So this will just make it for this body. And this is the template for the practice guitar. It's based on my oldest guitar, the guitar that's most important to me. I've owned that guitar since it was brand new. I'll show it to you in a minute, but this is a template based on that guitar. This one just fits. I'm going to have to trace the template right down to the bottom edge of the blank here, and up at the top, the neck pocket just fits. I may have to shave that down a 32nd of an inch. I also could bring this back so that the end of the neck pocket fits up there, and just round the bottom a little bit. So I don't think I'm going to have a whole lot of trouble with that. The top cutaway leaves me about 1/16 of an inch at the top here, and we got about 1/4 of an inch here. So this will just work. So this is the second, or the practice guitar. We'll call it the practice blank right now. It could end up being a whole guitar if I don't mess anything right up, but I'm prepared on this second to at some point abandon it if I really make an unrecoverable mistake. So that second, the practice guitar, is based on this guitar. This guitar I call Butch. Butch was originally a Fender Lead 2. The only thing original on Butch now is just the body. Everything else is completely changed. There's some interesting features of Butch. I talked about having routed wood to inlay for a hole in a guitar, and that was on Butch. So I've had this guitar since it was brand new. It's never been out of my possession, except it got stolen off stage. We just happened to be playing in a town where we were a favorite band, and the police located it for me within 12 hours. we had moved on to the next gig, but it was shipped out to me. So Butch has been in my possession except for 3 days after somebody tried to steal him. And thanks to the RCMP and Jasper for locating him and sending him back to me. Over his lifetime, I have done a lot of things to Butch. Like I say, he's completely modified. He's not really a lead 2 anymore, just the body. I've also done my share of stupid things. I originally had freehand routed for a Kaler trim in there, and that turned out really sloppy. You can still see some of that around the edge here. Then at some point about 10 or 15 years ago, I had a friend of mine, a guitar builder friend of mine, routed out for an original Floyd Rose, which I still have. I'm going to put that on another project at some point. I already know what I'm going to do with that. You can see that this was routed then for a Floyd Rose. I just had him leave this hole back here. I figured I could do the Steve Vai thing and really get a lot of up range on it. Just stupid stuff. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I thought, you know, Butch was at his best when he was original. I know I can't get him back original. I'm not really a trem user. So I decided, well, I have nothing to lose. I still will have Butch if I mess this up, but I'm going to try and make a block to inlay into the body. And that's what I've done here. So this is actually a piece of walnut. And what I did was I traced around to clean up this pocket somewhat. Butch has a lot of character, and I don't mind some of that character. So I actually made a tracing of what I thought would work in here. And I routed out the holes, cleaned up all of the edges and corners here. And then I made a template and shaped that walnut so that it would fit right in that hole. And it works really well. I got the idea for that from 2 places. Dan Earlywine did a video on the Stu Mack site quite a long time ago about repairing similar damage to Mike Bloomfield's famous Telecaster. Look up that video. And that's where I kind of got the idea how to do it. The original idea to do it came from, I remember years ago, reading an article with Greg Cocken, his original Telecaster, which was also extremely butchered, we'll call it, and had the same thing. He had routed for some kind of a trim system and then decided he didn't like it, and he had a piece cut and inlaid in there. I think he had it made out of a piece of phenolic from a bowling ball. I actually spent time looking for a bowling ball that I could cut up to do this and just couldn't come up with anything. So I ended up with walnut, which I then painted black. That's why it's black. I just kind of thought, well, if you're going to make a mistake, be proud of your mistake. If you can fix it, be proud of the fix. So that's what's going on here. Also on the back, I cut a piece of walnut to fit in the cavity that had been routed for the springs and spring claw. That did turn out pretty well. The seams are not quite as good as I maybe would have liked them, but they're definitely acceptable. The neck on my GGBO build is going to either be based on Butch's neck or the neck of a guitar I call the Beast. They are both by far the nicest feeling necks. I really like the feel of Butch. Over the years, I have sanded the finish off. I have shaped the heel a little bit. This guitar really feels like home to me. I probably will try and duplicate Butch's neck for the number 2 and the Beast's neck for the number 1. The exceptions I'm going to make to it is Butch is a 21 fret neck, and I think the Beast has a 21 fret neck too. I want 22. I'm not big on 24 fret necks. I might cover why in another video. It just takes a little more explanation than I can take here, but I definitely like a 22 fret neck. So I'm going to get to the actual work now today, which is going to be sanding the blanks and tops and gluing them together. I'm not going to worry too much about getting the backs of the blanks perfectly sanded today or the tops of the tops perfectly sanded today. What I'm concentrating on is going to be that seam where the top and the blanks join. So I will be getting the residue off both sides of the blanks and the tops, but I'm going to be really then concentrating with sanding on just what's going to be in that seam. between the blank and top. And before I start doing this sanding and cleanup, I'm just going to go back to this one top that I had the problem with. It turns out that this top is only a little under 31 inches long. So it's definitely not long enough for two tops, at least of what I'm building now. My shortest body is the mutt body, and that's 15.5 inches when it's finished. So I would need more than 31 inches to get two tops even for those. So I decided not to worry about that, and that lets me choose the figuring that I like the best on this top. As I say, this offcut piece is big and pretty nice, and I will use that wood for something. I've made a mark where I think this looks best, and I think that leaves me a total length of almost 17 inches. That's not where I want the end of the blank to be. The end of the blank will be down here a little bit, but why I've put that mark there is I was looking at the figuring, and I don't know if you can see it, but there are these sort of interesting quilted V's. One here, another one up here. They kind of fade off as the guitar goes up. I really think that has a really cool look. There's a fainter one down here, but I didn't really think that would work too well, and that's where that step starts to develop. So this is what I want to be the bottom bout of the guitar body, so that this V kind of is right there at the bottom. So I'm going to probably cut this across here, and then when I put the routing template on, I may take this just a little bit down here just to make sure that V and that V and that V show up in good spots. This one and this one may be obscured when I put the pickups in, but this one at the bottom is the one I really like. That also leaves me this sort of figuring look that I like here, where it kind of goes up to a point and even up at the top, although neck will be up here so you won't see this part. So looking at this with the handheld, this top will go from here all the way up to the top. Go in there a little bit closer, and you can see here's that V I'm talking about, and there's that second one, and there's another faint one up here. So going from here, this is what it's going to look like. So I think that's going to look great. The other top I will just split right in the middle. They almost look like twins of each other. The top half is a little bit nicer, so that's probably what I'll use. I think I'm going to use this problem top actually as my main top, just because I like it so much. So my practice one will be one of the other more plain tops. Before I start sanding and cleaning the glue off, because this one has this problem down here, I'm going to cross-cut it, which is good. It will let me test my cross-cut sled out and see how that works. And then I will get to cleaning the glue and sanding. First real world test of the crosscut sled. You see I've gone almost half an inch below my mark where I want the body to end. So I'm just going to check that and see how square that came out. Well, I don't know if it's perfect, but I'm going to call it perfect. I can't shift it either way in this square. It seems to me to be perfectly square. So here you can see that. There's some shadow here, but it's right against the this square here, and then going up, it stays right tight against that square. That's close enough for what I need anyway. You can feel the seam a little bit right here, so I need to sand that, and then we'll check how flat that is. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'll get on to the back of the other top, and then we'll do the blanks. Well, I think that's worked out really well. It was really not too much sanding at all. The belt sander, of course, is great and quick to have for something like that. I'm not sanding the face of the blanks until we have it all glued up and we're doing all the work on the guitar. There's no need to sand it right now. So I was mainly focusing on what's going to be that seam in the middle between the top and the blank. I sanded those both, started with the 80 grit on the belt sander just to get all that glue residue off and smooth things out. And then I just went to 120. I don't think I need to go any farther than that. This is an inside seam, so I think the glue is actually going to adhere better. Not that 220 would be too smooth, but I don't think I need to go past 120. And these are fitting really well. There's a slight cup on the other one that will clamp out. I can just put very light pressure on and it disappears. So I'm not worried about that. On the backs of the blanks, I did sand them with 80 just to get that glue residue off, but I haven't finished sanded the backs or the faces. You'll also notice on my on the blanks that the blanks are about 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 too wide, and that's fine. Like I say, my guitar is only 12 inches wide, so everything is plenty wide enough to accommodate the blank. The only thing I have to be careful about is that when I put the body on, I've got this little gap up here on this side of the blank. I may take a handsaw and cut that just so that I actually remember. Once this is glued up, I'm going to trim off these side pieces. This is nice hard ash here, and I need to make some handles for some of my files. So I haven't done anything with my lathe in 4 or 5 years, so probably turn some handles and maybe film that down the road. Everything feels good. You can't feel the seam at all. This is the other top, and even though this is the side that's going inside, you can see how I said I thought the figuring was a little more pronounced up at the top. And it definitely is. Now that I've sanded, you can really see some nice figuring here. I really like that. I think the front's going to look just awesome. So there you go. I think that's looking just fantastic. I cannot wait to get this guitar looking like a guitar. So right now, what I have to do is split this down to 2 tops off camera, and then we'll be back right away to do the glue up. I was just getting ready for that, and at times like this you ask yourself, how many clamps is too many clamps? And I think, to paraphrase Nigel Tufnell, none too many. Not counting my 36-inch F clamps, which I'm not going to use because they're too long. It would be a problem. Trust me, I would walk right into them. I've got 18 clamps here. I'm not really sure if I'm going to use all 18 on one glue up, but I don't think I have enough to glue up both of these at the same time. So first thing I need to do is line up the top and then drill locating pins. Okay, those pins aren't too loose, but they're not too tight in there either. So we'll spread the glue and we'll get to this glue up. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to mark, since this top isn't as wide as the blank is, no sense spreading glue across the whole thing. Time to clamp it up now. So going to start with a couple of these clamping cauls. Make sure the middle gets clamped down really well. Well, yeah, so used all of my clamps for that, but that's that one glued up. I will let this cure overnight. It's getting pretty late in the afternoon anyway. I will glue up the other one off camera. So you'll see me unclamp these ones in the next video. Like always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this entertaining or interesting. Please check out my band One Soul Thrust. The links are below like always. I also will include a card to our third video release from our most recent album, Slaves to the Sky, Masters to the Mess. The song is called The Fight for Love. It's a lyric video with visuals, so I'll put a card somewhere around. Until the next video, thanks for watching. We'll see you.